In terms of general education courses I teach, I only teach one that I developed with a great deal of support that I appreciate, called Introduction to World Puppetry.
Yeah.
And that is just now on the catalog, the course catalog for the whole university, so I'm looking forward to teaching it in the fall. The idea of Introduction to World Puppetry is to present what I see as the nature of puppetry as a global art form with a past, present, and future to students who aren't necessarily focused on puppetry. So we look at puppetry as, as its own particular form of art that brings together sculpture and painting and music and choreography and writing, etc. A form of art that is connected to anthropology, because anthropologists in the beginning in the 19th century had to study puppetry when they went all over the world, as literature, as politics, as religion, because all forms of puppetry going back to their origins, and for many to this day, are connected with religion, with rituals, articulating ideas about the nature of being, the nature of gods and humans. This Introduction to World Puppetry class also wants to be a global studies, multicultural look, because at the ways that different cultures around the world in different eras have always turned to puppets, masks, and objects to articulate ideas that are important. So we look at Native American or First Nations culture with the Zuni people in the Southwest United States, and how puppetry and masks have been and are now central to the life of that community. Or African mask performance, which, in a place like Mali is very complicated, because Mali is a predominantly Islamic country, but the rod puppet traditions there go back to pre-Islamic traditions. And then right now there's a lot of controversy because of groups like Boko Haram, sort of Islamic fundamentalists. India, Indonesia, China, Japan, European popular theater, all of these societies have puppet traditions or object theater traditions. And by looking at the ways that those traditions function, I think we get a better understanding of how different cultures work, how different cultures perform important ideas about religion or politics or social order, what's funny, what's serious, what are the struggles in a society. You can see that in the history of puppetry and the contemporary stories of puppetry that happen in different cultures around the globe. And we can make connections, I think a rewarding thing about teaching general education students is that they kind of know about puppets. It's like sort of intriguing, but they don't really know. And then the way we want to present it, it's a way of looking or a way of operating that opens up to include different aspects, technology or philosophy or the liberal arts, or even mathematics, politics. Wherever you are from our perspective, there's something about puppetry that probably relates to you. So I think that's fun sometimes, or hopefully it's enlightening, like, how does Islam relate to puppetry, and how do Hindu beliefs relate to that, and who knew that Christianity in its history was very connected with puppetry, or how do puppets deal with politics, and how do contemporary political actions deal with puppetry, the Occupy movement, I think that hopefully that opens up ideas about thinking about about the ways that the material world functions. I think that's the goal. We also do some performance, although it's not, it's basically, it's by and large reading and writing and discussing and making presentations. We have some performing simple stuff, because puppetry has also traditionally been something that non-experts can get themselves involved with. Like the whole community comes out and performs in Mardi Gras, or in, you know, traditional cultures around the world. The whole community comes out and performs in, you know, a particular dance, you know, in the Zuni Pueblo, or maybe in Africa. There's rituals that everyone undergoes. So there's some forms of puppetry that anybody can do, which is fun. Like you could do this at home, which in the toy theater in the 19th century, it was home entertainment. Everybody did it. You didn't have to train, be a puppeteer, and be a professional. So there's a certain joy in doing, creating simple shows that reveal to you, oh, look what you can do when you create this little world in a box with flat cutout figures, and you can talk about anything. You can talk about, you know, President Trump, or what's happening in your dorm, or a family story, or the history of the world, or whatever. So that's kind of fun, to open that up and say, here, you can do it too, you know.